Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books from Book of the Month Club and beyond. I'm your host, I'm Renee, and today I have a very important announcement. Uh, my co host here, if you've never met her before, is named Raina. That's my dog, and today is her gotcha day. We adopted her on March 19th, 2020. She was somewhat of a COVID dog, although didn't start out to be that way, but kind of turned out to be that way. And she's looking for her morning treat right now, so she's going to stay right here. But anyway, congratulations, Raina, on being our dog for 4 years. You have been an absolutely wonderful companion. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I wanted to say in my last video, I did a review of Killers of the Flower Moon, and I mispronounced the name of the Native American tribe. I was pronouncing it as Osage, and it should be Osage. Um, it's one of those words when you look it up and just read the pronunciation. To me, it seemed a little bit more like it was towards a soft O, uh, but someone who lives in Oklahoma pointed that out to me. So that's actually a good way to remember it. Oklahoma Osage tribe. So yeah, and then I went back and actually listened to it, which is what I probably should have done in the first place, right? And yeah, so Osage. So correction to that, you know, should have, like I say, probably listened to it a little bit better. But anyway, okay, what we're doing today for Tag Tuesday is I'm going to do the tag that's called How Do You Rate Your Books? And this tag was created by Emily at Novelle Novels. And I'll put a link to her channel. And here are the questions. So the first one is, how often do you DNF and what makes you DNF? Well, I don't really DNF very often. I would say maybe once or twice a year. Excuse me, the morning tree is sacred. Um, yeah, once or twice a year, I would say I DNF. Usually, it's just a book that I just can't get into for whatever reason. Maybe in some cases, I may just not be in the frame of mind for it. Um, and a lot of times I notice it's a book that I just pick up by chance, maybe at the little free library or something like that. It's not usually one of the ones that's either recommended to me or that I did maybe a little more research on and purchased and things like that, rather than just kind of judging by the cover at the little free library or something. So, but it doesn't happen that often. I try to give books a fair shake, and usually they're worth that. Number two, do you rate books 1 star? No, I don't. Yeah, if I've bothered to finish a book, it's not a DNF. Then usually, I'm going to call that at least an average read. So, no, I don't. There are some people on Goodreads that will give 1 star with no problem at all, and sometimes put a sarcastic review that, yeah, I mean, if that's their style, that's fine, but it's just not mine. So yeah, I never do that. What is a 2 star book to you? Well, I don't usually rate books with the 2 star either, myself. But I have read some 2 star reviews that sometimes, if they're thoughtful, if they're done in a thoughtful way, I will kind of look at twice. And especially if I think the person reviewing it has some similar tastes to me, it may make me think twice about any book that I want to purchase. So that I'm doing the research on. Number 4, is a 3 star a good book for you? Yes, quite simply. It's a book that I finished. May not be a book that I would necessarily recommend, but it made the time go by. I got through it. Um, it's average. I would call that an average read. Um, there may have been some very good parts to it, but overall, not something that I think is special or would necessarily recommend to other people. Number 5, what does 4 stars mean to you? So now we're getting into the territory where I've really appreciated that book. Four stars is good for me, uh, and it is a book that I would recommend to other people. Um, Although I might be a little bit use a little bit of discretion with that. I may only recommend it to people that I know have similar tastes to me, or who maybe have a special interest in the subject matter in that book, some kind of special reason to read it. They're in some type of a challenge or something like that. Uh, those I would recommend. And it means that, I got into the book. There were some maybe very good scenes in the book. I learned something from the book. I mean, all of those kinds of things. It just wasn't maybe, the top notch for me. So it's a 4 rather than 5. Number 6 is, do you ever do half-star ratings? Absolutely. I do points. I've done 4.4, 4.8, because sometimes, they are in that in between category. And I don't see anything wrong with maybe saying, this was so close to a 5, but just not quite. Or saying, I gave this a 4, thought it was maybe a little better than that, but so that's a 4.2. Yeah, I do. Um, I give half-star ratings. I think they're kind of important because there is a difference between a 4 and a 5, and there can be some gradations in that, I guess. Number 7, do you rate books 5 stars often? And what do the 5-star books do to make them rate that high? I do 5 stars actually fairly often. That just means that I'm picking some good books. I think that my reading has really picked up since I've had the YouTube channel. That is, to me, one of the absolute, good things about having a channel. One of the rewards of having a channel. People refer things to you, and sometimes they're of a better quality than maybe you could just get out of just kind of researching or saying, well, I'm going to read these two because they're bestsellers, or something along those lines. You kind of get the ones more that are meaningful for you because people know that you're a reader. So I do tend to give the 5 pretty often. If you look at my Goodreads, you'll see some 5s there. So what do the 5-star books do to make them rate that high? I would say that to be in that category, they'd have to have some great characters that I can identify with in some ways, at least. They have to have maybe taught me something or made me look at something in not necessarily a different way, but maybe in a closer way, so that it's something that I feel I could bring up in a conversation and just, very easily talk about because it just had some meaning for me in some way. And the writing has to be good as well. Um, I don't know, that's kind of an intangible thing. We probably all like different types of writing, but I like it when it's so descriptive that, you're there not only in the setting, but with the characters. You're listening to what they say because it has some importance in this little world that you're living in while you're reading the book. Number 8, has your rating of books changed over the years? Not really. I think I probably would have rated most books kind of the same way when I was younger as now. But I think I'm getting better all the time at, I hope I am at least, at doing book reviews uh, since I've had the channel, and just a little more articulate about what I liked about the books or didn't like about the books. So, yeah, I would say it's changed in that way for the better. And number 9, where do you record your ratings of books? Well, when I do a full book review on my channel, which would mean, one episode just totally dedicated to a book review, I will give a rating, I will give a rating, usually with a point something, if I think the book needs a point something. Um, and I also have them on Goodreads. And I also keep a little spreadsheet myself. I've been keeping the same one since 2018. And so I have a record of all of the books I've read. Now, part of the reason for that is not ratings, it's my memory. Because sometimes I forget what I've read, or I forget the title, I forget the author. And later, when I am maybe telling somebody about it, I like to be able to, know the book I'm talking about for sure, because sometimes it's something that they say they want to look up and maybe, see if it might be something that they want to read. So, yeah, so I keep it in a couple of different places, but the spreadsheet is just very simple. So, those are my answers to the how do you rate your book tag. And again, I want to say happy Tag Tuesday. Happy Gotcha Day to my beautiful Raina. And remember that you are the author of your own story. So craft it well and always go beyond. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.